Welcome to Zelda Speed Runs. On the main stage, we have Game 2 from the winner's bracket of the 2024 Zelda 2 Randomizer Random Percent Tournament between Xarnax42 and BK Patrick. On tracking, we have Elendar, and on commentary, we have Mirai. Take it away, Mirai.
Hello, everybody. Yes, Game 2 of this best-of-3 series between these two runners. It's possible that somebody is going down to the lower bracket tonight, or I guess this morning. It is only 11 a.m. Eastern, so everywhere else in North America is still morning. That person might be Xarnax. He took a loss in Game 1. He took a little bit of a gamble going into P2 for the glove. Took a little bit longer than he wanted, and Patrick kind of just followed standard logic of the seed, and he got what he needed a little bit faster than Xarnax in that one. So Big Picket took the win in Game 1. He's looking to take the win here in Game 2 to send him to the next round, but we'll see. This seed apparently took a while to generate, so there might be some shenanigans that occur in this one. Looking forward to that, or it just might be plain Jane. Maybe the randomizer was like, you know what, I can't make this too complicated. Let's just gen this bad boy with something simple. So it might just be simple and straightforward. Who knows? We're about to find out in a few seconds, though. We do have some starting items. Random percent tournament here. We start with random stuff, random spells. A random amount of gems to complete, as we're seeing there. Jump, fairy on Patrick's side. 2 lives, 4 gems, and the boots. Let's see if they're going to be useful. Maybe? Immediate Maze Island there, just north of start, as well as possibly Parappa or Heart Container Cave. Heart Container Cave, indeed. Next going in there first. Patrick to follow, Cat in the front. When it comes to random percent, there's a whole bunch of flags that can be 50-50 here, so. I'm going to wait to see this item, and then I'm going to refresh real fast. I had a little syncing here. It looks like nothing. Okay. So the things we're looking for in this random percent tournament is some things are going to be vanilla, other things are not going to be vanilla. Some things are going to be sort of vanilla, so we're trying to figure that out as we play. Our next seeing Maze Island there. Yeah, looks like we had Naburu Fairy. Naburu Fairy there, as well as we had Rudo Jump, though. So Rudo's in its vanilla spot. Just happened to randomize back there, but Fairy normally from Mido. So we've got random spells, at least spells shuffled around between the town's trophy cave here for for Big Picket. He gets $50, but he takes a bath. It was too tempting. He simply had to grab that. Yeah. Could have been big money. We're also shuffling P bags in this one. Although, you know, we've yet to have seen any 1,000-point P bags. Funny enough. We've seen some 700s here and there, but yeah. Those have been far and few between as well. Mostly maxing out at 2 to 500, which is standard. Nothing in Trophy Cave either there. There's actually, for those of you who are not familiar, there is actually something there. It's a blue or red jar. It's just a small item that's been put in place of the trophy. It's entirely possible that when something gets taken out of the seed, you can see we also start with 7 hearts. So the standard start is 4 hearts. And we would also need the trophy from Rudo to get the spell from Rudo, but we start with it. And so when things are pulled out of the game, they don't need to be placed in the game any longer, right? So we just get replaced with a small item, and in the dark, you can't see the jar. If it were a P bag or a 1-up, you would be able to see those in the dark. We've also got the Western P bag cave here, Pillar P bag cave. We did see, I believe, a red Dyra earlier. I didn't catch how much that was worth, though. We're looking for some good experience here. Small enemy is usually not worth too much. There's our P-bag that glows in the dark. $100. Keys in the drop pool as well. Large enemy drop pool. It's got keys in it. We do have a mixed enemy set here because that Geldarm is a large enemy, and in here, in vanilla, it's just a bunch of cats. A bunch of Megmats, if you will. which are small enemies. So having that Gildarm there in the middle is going to tell us that we've got at least mixed in the overworld. Because the shuffling of enemies is an overworld and palace split flag. It's two different flags. So at a minimum, we have mixed in the overworld. We may have vanilla in palaces, though. Yet to see that. Yeah, entirely possible that we don't, as I said with the random percent tournament, we're looking to get a read on the flag set and what it is telling us. Not seeing the trophy in Trophy Cave, because we started with the item in Rudo, could be a thing. Not seeing a heart in Heart Container Cave, because we started with a bunch of extra hearts, could also be a thing. So either those just randomly got placed there after they got taken out, or do we have vanilla item locations and they're taken out because of that? Here's our first drop in Maze Island. Child would be in here, but we start... No, we don't start with anything. If spell items are removed, we won't have anything in here, assuming vanilla items. There's a lot of assumptions you got to make in these flags. There's a lot of exceptions, so just bear with us as we all try to figure out. Child, so spell items are turned on. We'll see what Darunia has in store for us whenever we make it over to the east, though. But that is looking more like vanilla placement of items. So the other drop in the maze here, if we've got vanilla, should be a magic container. We're also looking for a continent connector. There's a bridge up there in the northwest corner of maze. Yeah, another thing is, of course, the vanilla palace locations. I don't think we saw anything on the west. I could have missed it in a refresh here, but we're seeing P4 on the maze, which is its vanilla spot. If we've got vanilla palaces, that'd be 1, 2, 3 on the west, 5, 6, and GP on the east, and again 4 on the maze. I didn't see how much access we had on the west either. Have we exhausted our... Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on some chat here. Yeah, I'm not sure how much access we still had. We're still missing Medicine Cave, we're still missing the grass tile, and we're still missing, I think that's it. We saw Pillar P Bag, we saw Trophy, we saw Heart, Magic Container Cave. Magic Container, Medicine Cave, and grass tile still outstanding here. There's our second drop on the maze. It is a Magic Container. So, looking like vanilla items here. And we are on the east here, looking like a volcano. No, it's not. It's looking like another vanilla lake, possibly. We've got invisible moas in our graveyard encounters here in the east. Kind of scary. These 2 lives for these runners are going to be possibly one of the worst things in the world. You could give people an Oko seed, and I think they'd prefer that over 2 lives. So, or Oko with like 5 lives versus 2 lives. It's pretty bad. Reducing the amount of starting lives is a huge penalty in some cases. Especially with starting Fairy like that. Fairy likely going to be the means to, or possibly going to be the means for logic into palaces, and if we have to take any death abuses, you only get 2 Fairy casts per palace right now. I mean, they can't even cast it yet. I'm not sure if it came down on Magic 2 or Magic 3, but it started it at 86. Yep, 7 containers to get into the basement, so we're going to need 2 more for each of our runners. What do we got in? Oh, we got Magic Container requirements turned on. No spell for the runners here. That means we're going to need 6 containers for Darunia, 7 for New Kasuto, and 8 full containers for the spell in Old Kasuto, assuming we want any of this stuff. Did we check the town sign when we came in? I didn't see Xarnax check the town sign, but here, we'll check. Oh, I guess we must have already checked the town sign. Oh, no, hidden town of Kasuto. Okay, so no town sign hints. Usually the standard play these days is to have the spell that's acquired in the town be read on the sign there as we walk in. But note, that is turned off today, so we don't even know what spell we're going to be getting. And that's true for every town. That is not a per town not a per town flag. We don't seem to have too much access to stuff up, but we had Risen P-Bag Cave that Xarnax said, but then he saw it, but then it backed out of it. But if we have vanilla items, it's just going to be a P-Bag, right? So he's probably not going to want to go in there. Are we going to be forced into a Death Valley right off the bat? It's looking like it. What do we have for ferry cost here? 43. Okay, that's fine. You can get us through the first encounter here. We'll make it through this. We just got to make it into the volcano. Wow, this is not a friendly enemy, though, by any means, to get through here. Luckily, we do start with a lot of hearts. These guys can do a lot of damage. Anything in the east can do a lot of damage to you early on. But we just got to make it through this one cave. This is just a one cave encounter here. And then we can just make it to the palace. We can up an A, get our resources back. Hell, we can even dig the palace if we want to. But if we've got vanilla palaces, it's going to be 5 or 6. Might even be GP, though. And if we have vanilla palaces, there's possibly a good chance that GP is just kind of chilling in the volcano here. It is chilling in the volcano. That is a great palace right there in Death Valley Volcano. But we're going to go through to the other side. Looks like it's open. Did we find Sunken P-Back Cave here on Patrick's side? Or is this what we saw on Xarnax's side? I thought he saw Risen. Did he see both? It's possible he saw both. But again, if this is vanilla items, this is just going to be a P-Bag. I think Patrick probably just going to try to confirm this. He got some kills on those Alphos there. Any extra experience is nice to have. Could be some bad MOAs in this particular... Oh, Patrick, he cast Fairy, but he must know it's a P-Bag because he knows he can't pick up the P-Bag as a Fairy. So I think he wants that P-Bag. It might be worth 500. No, it's just a 1-up. He's out of there. We got Swamp Town here on the other side of the volcano. What do we got? One of the three of the other towns here. Naburu, we've already got the spell here. Oh my god. All right, nothing rewarding so far. So we do have a palace on the west here then. And this is, I'm assuming, P2. Water tile on Xarnax's side. Looks pretty linear on the other side of this volcano. P-Bag on the water tile. That's quite possible. That was just one of those hearts that was pulled out. We might not even have that 8th heart. So desert tile, water tile. Where are the 4 hearts in the game? Desert tile, water tile, grass tile, and heart container cave. So we still have a possible 1 heart on desert or grass. But again, no guarantee that that 8th heart exists in the seed. And we did see a glove block so far going right in this palace. I've been missing how much those Alphos are worth. Okay, that one dropped something, so never mind. Oh, wow. Okay, so far looking like just vanilla rooms in our palaces. And these could be unshuffled enemy sets as well, because that red Iron Knuckle is expected to be there in some room configurations. This is amazing. Is this... Okay, so he's got 2 of these stacked on top of each other. Do they just simply loop? Are they just stacked and looped on top of each other? That's amazing. That's a total... Yeah, if we've got just vanilla reconstructed, then this is going to be tough to navigate. All right, so this is... we've got... All right, we found Darunia. We're going to get the spell out of here. We're also going to check for the stab. Normally upstab is in Darunia, but it could be flipped in this particular flag set. So we're going to see whether it's upstab or downstab here. Well, again, we're also going to see the spell. Another 100-point bag for Patrick there in the drop pool. Nothing too big just yet. Nice super jump. It's a half super jump. We'll give him points. Xarnax gets some swag points there. That's very true. We are not going to get the spell out of here because we need 6 containers. But it was worth the check for the stab because it is downstab today. So upstab and Mito. Yeah, this is looking like vanilla enemy sets in vanilla reconstructed palaces so far. Nope, he's going in. Everybody always thinks, oh, he's not going in. He's faking out. Either he just remembered or he wanted to fake out the audience. It's hard to tell with Xarnax. He likes to play mind games with the commentary. Then he watches the race back and he smiles the whole time. He's like, ah. Anyway, we're still looking for, I assume, Helmet Head in this Palace 2. Standard P2 room here, going to be bots all the way across. There's not a heart on the desert tile, just another P-bag. One chance left for the last heart, and that's again going to be on grass tile. Old Kasuto there, not going to be able to get anything out of there right now. Raft tile here on the south side of this volcanic east. I'm assuming it's going to go to Death Mountain, but it's possible that it goes to another side of the west. We did not roll all vanilla enemies. Overworld enemies are mixed, shuffled and mixed. Palace enemies are completely vanilla. Of course, I feel we always need to explain this a little bit when we talk about vanilla enemies. We did see Magos in P2, and in vanilla there are no Magos in P2, but because they are part of the 1-2-5 Palace pool, Magos will appear in any of the when a room gets moved around to another palace where Magos or wizards would exist, those things get put in there instead, and they still exist in that room. This is vanilla reconstructed, meaning you can take any room from any palace and put it in any other palace. So this, when we saw Magos, that was a room from either 5 or 6, or possibly 4, I guess. There are wizards in 4, yes. My vanilla knowledge isn't fully 100%, but it's taken from another palace, put into P2, and then, of course, the enemy ID is the same. So Magos have to exist in the 1-2-5 Palace pool. Wizards would exist in the 3-4-6 Palace pool. Wow, a pass-through kit. So man, where did Xarnax he just went through? Did he just go through? No, he's going through Parappa now. Did he go through Parappa to get to Heart? I thought Heart was just north of Start. Oh, he went through Fairy? So we're on the top side now. Okay. So that was a double pass-through cave to get to the top side here. We're in Rudo, and we're in Raru, and we're gonna see what we've got available in this town. And presumably our other 2 caves are up here along with the grass tile. As well as Mido, I guess. Medicine cave gonna have medicine, but we don't know what's in Mido. Could be anything. Could be Reflect. Could be Thunder. Shield in Raru. Okay. Well, unshuffled shield and shuffled and then unshuffled shield and jump into Raru and Rudo. Patrick's still looking for this this boss or this item. Again, if we've got vanilla items outside in the overworld, the other flag that can turn on, well, I guess it has to be on, is that palace items are going to be native to palaces, but they could be shuffled. They could be shuffled, or they could be vanilla. So if they're vanilla, being in Palace 2, you're looking for the glove. But if it's not the glove, then that will tell Patrick that this is indeed shuffled, and that glove's going to be in in a different palace. We did not find the boss. Is this a pass-through Horsehead? It is not. Like this room right here. This would have been filled with whiz robes in P6, but it got reused in P2, so whiz robes don't exist in P2. Magos exist instead, and that's why you see Magos in that room. We found Saria as well here. I'm assuming we've checked for regular hints, and that those don't exist. Because it looked like Xarnax just walked by the guy at the front there by the bridge. Yeah, not enough to cast Fairy, no keys to get through the doors, so we're going to come back here, take a death, not take a death. Did I miss something in Helmet Head's room? What has happened? I completely missed what was in... Oh, Thunder's in Saria. Okay. Right as I'm about to ask, the tracker lights up. Perfect. What happened in Helmet Head's room there? Did we not place the gem? Are we... Oh, we're looking for a level, it looks like. Okay, here's the item room in 2. So he's going to get the level. It looks like he wants the double level. He's got a key, but let's see if we can get this door open. He's still got to fight the blue guys. Is it the glove? It is the glove. Surprise, surprise. Look at that vanilla strat. Grab the item, take the death off the beam. That's a time save. He starts back at the front of the room. Easy. Alright, so we got the glove out of 2. We're going to place the gem here in 2 as well. This is going to be first gem play, sub 20. There's P1 for Xarnax. He's going in. And at this rate, we're probably going to have that candle sitting in P1. Keys in drop pool is nice, though. We still only have... Oh, Xarnax has 6 containers now because he saw a magic container cave, right. So that does give him 2 casts of a 43 cost fairy. Otherwise, Patrick. I don't know if Magic 4 brought down... I just missed it again. If it brought down the cost of fairy. If it's still 43, then that 5 containers is only going to be worth 1 cast. So the keys in the drop pool are pretty nice there. Seeing a glove block in 1. No glove, though. Xarnax is out of there. He's headed back down south. I don't know if he saw Medicine Cave. I don't know if we need Medicine today. Technically speaking, we don't at this point. We've got everything we need in terms of spells. Thunderbird not necessarily required in this flag set, so whether we need Thunder or not is still up in the air. We'll have to find that out once we're in Great Palace later. Looks like Patrick is headed up north as well through Fairy Cave. He's going to be spit out and see another pass-through. I always like it when the randomizer does this, when it puts 2 pass-throughs together. Pretty rare, but sometimes it just randomizes to do that. So Xarnax went into 2, and he's leaving. Or he's going to get a refill. He's going to get a refill. Okay. Patrick is up north. He's going to get shield out of Raru here. He's going to see Saria as well. I'm sure he's going to go find Magic Container Cave because he knows there's a Magic Container there. So this is kind of how this plays out. So these runners now know a whole bunch about this seed, and its mysteries have been solved now within less than 20 minutes. Less than that probably. There's still some unknowns as to what items were in palaces, whether they were shuffled or whether they were straight vanilla. Xarnax still doesn't have that information, but he has a good feeling that, well, I guess if he knows the outside world is vanilla, then the palaces have to be, they have to have the palace items as well. So he just doesn't know whether it's shuffled or whether it's straight vanilla yet, but he's coming into P2 after that glove block in P1, and he'll get his glove out of here as well. But our runners know exactly what they need to do at this point, right? So the mystery has been solved. They just need to find, other than the overworld mystery of where everything is. But it's been solved essentially. You're just looking for those last locations that are on your checklist, and then you're done. Patrick hasn't seen most of the east at this point, but he knows how to get there. He knows it's going to be simple and straightforward. He just needs to go through the volcano. This is not too new. All right, so there's no hearts out there with grass tile having nothing. I don't know if Xarnax found that earlier. Doesn't show on his tracker, so. Yeah, so this is going to be Mito here. Patrick doesn't know that Darunia. Oh, that's Rudo. I'm sorry, that's Rudo. Here's Saria. This is going to be Thunder, and I guess Mito is around the corner here. I don't know if Xarnax picked up Upstab. I didn't see him up here in the north for long enough. I don't think he did. Might be gambling on that. It was a nice find for downstab in Darunia. This potentially gives him a little bit of an advantage in these palaces. Also having Thunder early, but the other problem is that if you're relying on Fairy to get through doors, you probably don't want to be blasting away your magic with just the Thunder was not enough to kill him after smacking him once or twice there, and then trying to fight him with Jump. That was going to be a lot of fun. That was a dead end room anyway. So I think Patrick's looking for another palace up here. Have we seen P3? I assume we've seen P3 as well. There's a palace there. Assuming that's P1. Yeah, this is P1. Patrick will be able to place the gem in here. He's got the glove now, so Xarnax was kicked out of here fairly early with a glove block. Could be a bad room, though. It looked, it was the room with potential generators in there, and if they double up to be something bad, oh man, what a nightmare of a room. This flag set does not restrict generators, so generators do not have to match inside of rooms where they exist. This P2 was deep, though. Like, there was a lot to do in this palace, too. We saw Patrick in here for several minutes until he finally found the boss, killed the boss, then backed out of it looking for experience and found the item room not too far away. So as long as Xarnax can find that elevator shaft, he'll be able to find the boss and the item room. It's going to take a moment, though. It didn't seem like it was exactly straightforward. We've got a horse head. We did see that palaces do extend beyond boss rooms, so if Patrick wants that candle, I think it's been linear up to this point, the candle would be behind the horse. That means the candle would be back behind the horse. We'll see if he sticks around. I imagine he probably won't, unless the item room is immediately behind him. All right, 2 gems down for Patrick, sub 26 here. What's next on the docket? Are we going to go to P3? I assume our runners know where that is. They don't have Reflect. They can't do 4 in the maze. So that means we can head to the east to do our 4th palace then, if we're going to do 3 here in the west. All right, so we're sticking around 1. We are going to look for the item here. But vanilla rooms means no community item rooms, so elevators, no community item rooms, no community boss rooms, so elevators don't have item rooms attached to them or boss rooms attached to them. It's got to be straight up moving left or moving right. All right, so we found Helmet Head on Xarnax's side. He doesn't know that palaces extend, so I don't know if he'll check that, but if he does, it'll be an immediate dead end and he won't be punished. If he doesn't, if he's afraid to check it, he also won't be punished because it's an immediate dead end, and that's not his item room back there, so. All right, here's our horse head guarded candle. Now, I guess it doesn't have to be the candle in 1. It could be the candle in 3. We'll see here. I'm skeptical that we have a shuffling of palace items, but we're about to find out. Candle in 1, okay. That means raft in 3. All right, so Xarnax places his gem. He's going to come back to this elevator back here. See if he goes down and right. I think he checked to the left a moment ago before going to the right, so I think he's going to come back down and right, yeah. And he will see an immediate item room, and he'll be out of here. Whether that was faster than Patrick or not, I'm not sure, but he did have downstab, so if their routing was equal, then downstab potentially a little bit faster, just given that you could just bounce over enemies that you don't want to fight. Oh, there's a raft tile there. Okay. So raft goes to the top of the west then. It does not go to DM. We're looking for a cave that goes to DM. Not that we care, though. Yeah, so we are just ready to go at this point. We've got Thunder. We've got the glove. We don't know if there's going to be any glove blocks in GP. We've seen glove blocks in standard palaces already. That's not an indication that the route to Darklink will be glove blocked in Great Palace, but there's so many rooms in Great Palace, and there's, with vanilla rooms only in the pool, there's a really good chance there's going to be few waffle rooms in the way with a bunch of glove blocks, so. I don't know if we've seen Palace 6. Oh, we're gonna have to do 5 and 6 because it looks like we actually have a caldera on the west. I didn't even identify that in the beginning. Caldera on the west, hammer blocked to get in there. So P3 not on the table as something we can do right now. So we're gonna go to the east and do 5 and 6. Okay. We know 5 is in the south side of the east, which is near Darunia. So if Patrick wants to have downstab before he's going into 5, he'll be able to get that. I think Xarnax is coming back north here to do P1. I was wondering what that boulder-blocked cave was. I thought it could be Medicine Cave, potentially, but... Oh, there's our cave to DM. I'm pretty sure we saw that on Patrick's side, and I just missed it. I did see him up over in that area. Yeah, Patrick about to hit the east. Right now, he's not going to be punished for anything. If we needed 8 containers, if we needed 8 containers, or 7 or 8 containers to get Thunder, and Xarnax knew that, then it's possible that Xarnax could make the play to go into DM, get the hammer, get the magic container out of Spec Rock, and be in the lead on paper at that point because of needing those magic containers. But with Thunder for free, and they're not going to be a need to get the spells out of New Kasuto or Old Kasuto, Patrick is pretty much, at the moment, I'd say in the driver's seat. Xarnax needs to get into P1 and place that second gem ASAP. Again, he's got that small advantage with the downstab technique, but... Patrick's coming back into New Kasuto. He does know, unless he just wants his magic back, that's possible too, with just 2 lives. Just 2 lives, he wants a refill, yeah. Yeah, so that would be that would ultimately be hammer to hammer cave, hammer to Spec Rock to get the 7th container, take the 7th container to New Kasuto to get the 8th container out of the basement. That's what that logic would be. But again, we're not going to need that here in this seed. Oh, we've got Invisible Moas. Oh, Patrick with the up and A, Invisible Moas, and a somewhat tough lava encounter there. Just gonna say no, I'll start over. Patrick headed back up north. I think, is it possible? Did he go into Mito? Is it possible he's going back to Mito to hope for downstab there? Am I crazy? Did he not check that earlier? I had that question earlier and I didn't get a chance to answer it myself. Yeah, I mean, upstab could be required. He does know the skip, I believe, with Jump and Fairy. But, and especially with no community rooms, we're not going to have a hard upstab block, but resources could be a thing on just 6 containers. And there's Xarnax placing the gem in P1. He's going to continue on as well. He might just want, okay, you know, he's going to say, no, I'm out. So, I mean, what you could do is you could go and check to see if Hammer Cave is somewhat nearby the entrance to DM. And if that's the case, you just walk it back to the Caldera on the west. And then you can do P3 over 5 and 6. So at this point, Patrick had technically the lead I was talking about a moment ago, being on the east, being able to just do 5, 6, and walk it right back to GP with no other requirements. And now he's come back to Mito to grab the stab, as Xarnax is already up here. He's grabbing the stab as well. They're both in the exact same spot. So I'd say they're tied right now. Yeah, and an up and A from Patrick could be a little bit faster. I wonder what Xarnax... Does Xarnax think maybe he can make it into the Caldera from here? Maybe he hasn't fully identified that he's blocked. Yeah, I think he's gonna cover this corner down here to make sure P3's not down here. The view of that caldera was kind of out of the way. Yeah, that boulder-blocked cave looking like... Or... Is that cave that's facing south? It's got to be. All right, Patrick's just going to take the water walk around here, the one-tile walkable water on Maze Island. Yeah, I think Xarnax is a little confused as to the biome here and where P3 is sitting. He's going to up an A as well, and maybe he'll just go east. He may check this southern side again to make sure that P3 isn't down here, but if he just walks up the desert here, he'll see... Oh, okay, good. He's going back east, it looks like. He's just going to forget about P3 and assume it's unreachable. So this does put Patrick in the lead slightly, given that P5 and P6 could be gigantic palaces. It's really anyone's game still at this point. GP could be a full GP that we have. There could be a full 58 rooms in Great Palace. So really, well, Patrick may be in the lead on foot at the moment. He does have to go get downstab from Darunia, and he does need to kind of look around a little bit more. He might check... He might do a check on the desert tile and water tile. We'll see if he does those. Patrick has not been to Darunia yet. It is on the southern side of the volcano as he's trying to get there now. Xarnax went there very early on. So Xarnax walked it down to the river and then took the river up, but again, we did watch Patrick take the river and then walk around for free on that one tile of walkable water. These graveyard encounters, man, these invisible MOAs. We do have shield. Are we shielding up in these? There's Naburu for Patrick. He's seeing this for the first time now. Looks like Xarnax is going to be doing the exact same thing here, where he's just going to refill in Nukasudo. This is what happens when you have just 2 lives. If they had at least 3 lives, if not 4 or 5, or maybe a bunch of extra lives that they picked up along the way here because they are in the drop pool, they would not be doing this. But this is something you do with 2 lives because you don't want a game over when you're trying to get to the next safe spot. You need 7 containers to get the spell out of Nukasudo. Fairy, I don't know what it is at Magic 5. It's looking like it's still 43. Or are we checking item caves, P-bag caves here on Xarnax's side? We are checking. We did check Risen. Okay. Got a tricky Moa in there that we're going to thunder our way through because we've got a sliver of health. We'll probably stop in here. Is this Darunia? Is that Old Kasudo? I think that might have been Old Kasudo. Trying to get the fairy? Are we looking for the fairy? Or was that New Kasudo? That was New Kasudo. We're still on the top side. So Xarnax now toying with a game over. This is potentially bad because he's got a sliver of health. And, man, I probably would have stopped back in. Oh, boy. Yep. In the dark. He's going to take the death. I mean, this still technically works. He can fairy out of this, and he can actually... Oh, he could make it, though. I missed what was in Darunia. We do have the 6 containers to pick up the spell in Darunia, so I missed what was in there. Spell in Darunia. Okay. We can go back to the spell tower and get the key. We're going into P6 right now. I think Xarnax might have not seen this, but maybe he did. It might have been visible from Darunia. He might have done that check. I just know that I saw him walk into 5 earlier on when he was down here on the south side. And I didn't remember seeing a 3-eyed rock, so... I didn't see how many choices we had at the beginning of 6 here. So not sure if this is linear. All right, Xarnax back to the east. Yeah, see now, when he came out of the cave, these are the things you can kind of look back on and reflect upon, and even sit here as a newer runner and think, would it have been faster to just up an A, to take the death as he did, or would it have been faster to just go back into New Kasuto, walk to the Magic Lady and the Life Lady and kind of refill at that point? Probably would have been faster to do that, but then again, I don't know, he could have been caught by another bad overworld encounter that could have cost him a life, so it's hard to say, but I probably would have walked back into New Kasuto, as annoying as that is. And here's Barba in 6, a very quick 6, and we are not going to stick around for the cross. So Xarnax, in order to stay competitive here, Xarnax is definitely going to need to route these palaces as fast as Patrick is, because Patrick is in the lead currently. Then again, maybe GP is going to be such a nightmare, it'll just be the great equalizer. If Barba gives us a full... Well, if Barba gives us at least 700, I think we're going to try to double level. There's 300, plus 100 from the bag. Are we going to try for the double level? I don't know. We do know that palaces extend. We could just go back there and check. We're not going to. We're going to place it for 300 and about 90 experience. All right, so one more gem to place, 4, 5, 6. Here's the question, though. We got to do 5. Is attack 4 good enough? We've got, well, probably doesn't matter too much. We've got 7 heart containers. We've got the shield spell. We've got down stab and attack 4. I don't think Guma's going to be too much of a tank today. All right, we're going to check the desert tile. We are. It's going to be nothing. All right, so Xarnax back into Daruni here. Is he going to grab the spell? Maybe he's hoping for life. I mean, at this point, what could you hope for? Maybe he's hoping for dash? I mean, maybe he just wants to refill. Maybe he's not going to go any further than this point. Nope, he's going in. He's going to take all 3 screens and a basement. All for the spell. There are 0 doors in vanilla GP. Oh, that's true with the refill. You could just refill at the palace, yeah. We'll see if, first of all, we'll see if Xarnax routes P6 as cleanly. We say cleanly, but I mean, there is a lot of luck involved in just kind of guessing which way you need to go in a palace when they're completely randomized. So let's see if Xarnax routes P6 as luckily as Patrick did. And then let's see if there's a potential gamble to be made in P5 here. Oh, so this does look... Okay, so it looks like we go to the right down here, and this is what? A dead end down here? And we saw Patrick walk it back, and that's when he came up and went left at start. Is that how that worked? Looks like we may have looped around, possibly on Patrick's side here. Xarnax just going to take the up and A. Yeah, so P6 not really that bad, as long as Xarnax doesn't seem to gamble left. I think as long as he just hits the next elevator, he goes down and right, I think he's safe to find Barba very quickly. No, it's right now in this version of the randomizer, it's all or nothing vanilla. I mean, it's all or nothing palace structure. So if there are no community rooms that we've seen so far, there won't be any in GP. It's vanilla reconstructed across the board. All right, I think this is Barba here. It is. Okay, so Xarnax going to have just as fast of a P6 here. We're going to see a jumpless jackhammer, if you want to see this fancy technique. Oh, slips through, but we're going to cast jump anyway. We're going to do the conversion, but then we fall into the lava. Okay, okay. 1 life left. Are we going to be fancy again? We might be fancy again, because Xarnax... Yep, we're going to be fancy again. Attack 4, though. If he gets this in another cycle or so, here's Guma. Wow, that is that attack 4. Oh, Guma's heavily injured. I was going to say, if Guma's beefy, he's going to take a moment with this attack 4, it seems, because Barba sure is taking a moment. So if Xarnax game overs here, this is going to cost him time. If he doesn't, he's probably going to be on par, although Barba's not cooperating. Oh my god, the far pit every time. Okay, there it is. Barba down as Guma falls. I don't know if Xarnax could potentially make up some time in this P5, but you'd really have to just kind of god route it. He's going to walk it over to 5. He knows where that's at. And Patrick is going to be walking it back to Death Valley here. Yeah, with all these hearts and a shield spell, I'm sure we're going to see a great Guma fight from Xarnax as well. Yeah, unfortunately, it's another first left at start, and I think this wraps around. This is going to loop around as Patrick had shown us, and Xarnax not going to make up any time, at least in this first section. This is a hell of a walk back, though. At this point, it probably would have been faster to just up an A from the west, hit the cave to the east, and do one encounter, but he's already here, and he's going to be able to make it through regardless. It's because this cave he's got to go back through is the 2-screen cave with an invisible Moa. Oh, with vanilla enemies, I guess we're looking at what? Are there 2 Moas in here in vanilla? There are 2. Yeah, there are two Moas in here. Oh wait, no, we have shuffled. We have mixed enemies, so there doesn't have to be Moas in there. There's at least one, though. We do know that. All right, into GP. Just shy. 40s. What can we call it? 47 flat? We'll call it 47 flat. We'll call it 47 flat. Again, Big Picket up 1 game in this best-of-3 series. Nobody's going home, though. If Xarnax takes a loss, he just gets simply knocked down to the lower bracket. We did have a left at start, but we're going to pick to the right first. Vanilla Reconstructed. We don't know if it's short. We don't know if it's full. We're going to have vanilla enemies and palaces, though, so Vanilla GP has some pretty timid enemy sets. So we're going to see a lot of Firebirds solo, and we're going to see some Bird Knights solo as well. But other than that, I think the toughest thing in here is going to be possibly generators. Oh, no, they won't be shuffled either. Never mind. We're still going to have just single generators. Yeah, okay. Yeah, is this the loop for Xarnax here? I think this is the bottom of the first elevator right here. And he's going to go up and see the left. Yeah. Oh, he's going to go all the way up and see the exit. Nah, he's going to go left at start there, and it's somewhere down that pathway. Dead end for Patrick there. That's a landing room. Again, Vanilla Reconstructed going to take every room from GP and simply rebuild a new GP. So don't look at these rooms and think he's got to go, you know, left, right, left at these elevators to make it to the drop that takes you to Thunderbird. That is not the case. This is not a vanilla layout by any means. We simply have to look around, explore everything, and figure out whether or not Thunderbird's even required. Again, in this flag set, it's a little higher than a 50-50 that he is required. All right, is Xarnax on a new path at this point? I hope so. Patrick coming back to get the 50-50 jar up here. Again, 2 lives. I'm sorry I say again a lot. I'm just making sure that people understand that I know I'm repeating myself much of the time here, but 2 lives, very punishing. Not a lot of stuff to grind in GP for those extra lives. They are in the drop pool, though, if we do want to grind for them. Okay, so he's on Xarnax is on a new path here. Perfect. Is this linear up to this point? It was right that led us to a dead end, and then he had to go left at start, and this is where we're still on this same path, I believe, on Patrick's side. And it looks like we do have a required Thunderbird if this is a linear path. Yeah, this is not going to be too bad. Shield with 7 containers, although we came in injured. He doesn't know it, but he's got a good amount of time here. I have no idea where this Guma was. But Xarnax did spend a little bit more time in that loop, it seemed. Another elevator room for Xarnax. A few more hits for Patrick, although he's got 1 hit himself. All eyes on Patrick. He knows it. There it is. Okay. Easy bird. But we haven't seen much of GP, so there could be some branching paths here. Darklink does not have to be in the next room, but he's got a good lead. He knows that it's left at start. He knows how to get here. If he does game over, he doesn't need to conserve any magic points moving through here the second time. Thunderbird will stay dead. All right, so we do have a path divergence here. He does have to get through a bird down here. Oh, there it is. Okay. 1 life left. Who knows? Maybe it's 30 more rooms linear to Darklink after Thunderbird, and this will be here for a few minutes at that point. Ooh, fairy block here. Okay, second fairy block required. Well, I say required. I don't know if this is required, seeing as there was a left that was earlier. Xarnax seeing a dead end there in this middle of the drop column here. Does this just end up looping into itself? Looks like it does. On Xarnax's side, that is. All right, so with these vanilla rooms, we can expect 1 bird knight to be sitting in the middle of most of these waffles. I think there's 1 room configuration where there's not a bird knight that sits between them, but there's just going to be this 1 at all times. We're not going to have any crazy bird knight configurations in this GP, unfortunately. Which, with 2 lives, the audience wants to see a lot of death and destruction, but the runners, they want that safer Great Palace. Is Patrick gonna farm? I guess I don't know if well, we found Guma, perfect. And we can watch for a really great Guma fight on Xarnax's side as usual. Xarnax gets all up inside that man. 1,000 points for Guma, 100 from the bag. Not enough for a double level here, and he's probably not going to take it. I mean, he's probably not going to try for it. He's just going to take the gem and get into GP. Now, unless Darklink is really close by, it's possible that Xarnax still has a chance here. I mean, he's got a chance until it's over, right? But Patrick has a lot of rooms explored at this point. He knows there's just that one path choice after Thunderbird. If Xarnax goes left and sees Thunderbird first, that'll catch him up a little bit. That'll close the gap a little bit, but he still won't know what's to the right of start. And so there's a good chance he just goes right at start. Patrick about to take it. Okay, he makes it. Oh, we're at another elevator here. Okay. Oh, we're not even gonna check up to see where we're at. Is this a loop? Was there another branch back here? Or was there a branch to the right? If there's a branch to the right of starting GP, then Xarnax may have a real chance here. If it's this far back, then again, Patrick, again, he's not out of it, but Patrick has a hell of a... Oh, he has no magic, though. This is an... He either has to walk it backwards from that branch on less than a heart container, or up an A. Xarnax going to be in here about 10 minutes after Patrick. Patrick walked in 47 flat, and Xarnax going to be in about 56:15 or so. It's about 9 minutes and 15 seconds. Yeah, this is a little sketchy. So if Patrick does kind of wander around in this area and ends up taking a death, whereas an up and A might have been the better option. Xarnax going left right off of the bat here. He is going to see Thunderbird, assuming he makes it there with enough resources. I don't think there's too much to ask moving through this GP, though. We're getting some blue jars. We're going to shield it up. That means, oh, guys, I say a shield spell is going to give us 2 hits on these Bogos, whereas if we... Oh, there it is. Okay. Quick up and A to avoid the death animation, and now Xarnax... in a potential lead. Hate to call it a full lead because he's still got to fight Thunderbird and kill Thunderbird, whereas Patrick's just got to get back to that room and walk right through it. Yeah, I was trying to ask earlier whether those 1-ups were coming from small enemies or large enemies. If they're coming from small enemies, I would have just sat there on the Bogos and killed some. Xarnax also coming back for this 50-50 jar. This is, in my opinion, the play. Oh, he's got to stick around, though. We know he's going to be forced to take a death soon if he doesn't get this jar. All right, second try. Yeah, Patrick 2 rooms behind Xarnax, but Xarnax still has to do Thunderbird coming up in either the next room or the room after that, I believe. Oh, we got this. I missed this configuration here on Patrick's side, the Firebird. Oh, man, that hurts. That's over 4 containers worth of damage. Patrick gets the refill pretty quickly there. And here it is. Here's Thunderbird. Patrick going to pass Xarnax up again. But what will happen afterward? And in this case, Patrick's going to have more resources as well. The knowledge, the resources, unless big mistakes are made on Patrick's side, he's got a really good advantage at the moment. But I don't know where that other junction was. I Must have not been watching close enough. I thought we only had the one junction after Thunderbird. But apparently we had more than one. Because when we went right, we were able to loop all the way back around to Thunderbird's elevator. We'll call it Thunderbird's elevator. Because it's simply 2 rooms past Thunderbird. Yeah, so what's Patrick going to do? Right or left? Right, he needs a fairy cast, right? Left, I have no idea how far it is back to that junction. That must be back here somewhere. Oh, Xarnax, little mess up on the pendulum there. He's okay, he's okay. A little hezzy there. Did not get the first swing, and there it is, Thunderbird down. Not enough to get a level. Oh, here's a junction in the Jackamus room. Okay, the statue head room has a junction. Completely missed this right after the fairy room. So it's just hold left. Jump spell is going to get him an opportunity to get a 50-50 jar there. So we'll see if he'll just try it until he's out of magic. We'll see what Xarnax does. Xarnax is about to go down through this. Oh, that's right. He's going to go right. Okay, he's going to wrap him around to the fairy block. He's going to have to take a death. And here's another junction going left here. Okay, so now we've got, okay. So far, past Thunderbird, go right to the fairy block, go through the fairy block, statue head Jackamus room, go left, and then you've got 2 more lefts to pick from. Patrick sees that. He's going to stay down and go left. Curtain room, elevator up on the far side, not going to be attached to a boss room. There's a death for Xarnax. He needs that because this is a fairy block. Yeah, it's entirely possible that if Xarnax just holds left here and goes up and left, and that ends up being the answer, then, oh, Patrick falls into the pit here. He's going to be able to get through on the far side. But I have to keep fighting these. Oh, okay. Xarnax going to check. He's going right. Oh, this is potentially bad news for Xarnax. And there's Darklink for Patrick. It was just hold left from the statue room. Statue head room, that is. So, lots of bad things happen here. Patrick's going to take this one and stay in the upper bracket, and Xarnax is going to be sent down to the lower bracket. He's not going to know his opponent just yet, I don't believe, but we've got several of the races tonight alone and in the coming days, so I'm sure any opponents will be revealed shortly. There's a GG to Patrick, 101-23, 61-23, final time there, and Patrick in the waiting room. GG, Patrick.
Thank you.
How did that one feel?
Really vanilla, but fine. Otherwise, I was concerned about forgetting about Mito and just kind of lost my train of thought there, and needing the hammer to do P3, and just was thrown off for a few minutes in the West, but just decided to bag it and hope that Thunder was available.
Yeah, so that West was a little interesting. I didn't. Did you identify that as a Caldera early on? Did you see that that middle spot there? I didn't see that on my side, so I didn't know how long it took either of you to figure that out.
Yeah, it felt like a Caldera, and then just while walking around, I saw that there was the palace in the forest lake area. So it was a One Direction Caldera, obviously.
Yeah, I saw that boulder block cave on the top side. I'm thinking that must be Medicine Cave. And then finally, when I saw the palace on your side, being on the south side of the Caldera, I'm like, oh, that's to the Caldera. It's boulder blocked. We can't even get in there unless someone wants to go get the hammer. So I guess we're doing 1, 2, 5, and 6 today. And yeah, you were done with, you did 2 first, got the glove out of there, then you went up to do 1. 1 was glove blocked. Xarnax showed us that early on. Xarnax actually went to the east early on and got downstab out of Darunia on a gamble. He went all the way through Death Valley and made it all the way down to Darunia, saw all of that down there, had downstab early on, but you were already into P2 at that point and digging out the glove. He didn't go into P2 right away. He did go north through the double pass-through to get to the top side. That was great. The fairy cave required to get up to Parappa Cave. That was really cool. and he went up there first to show us what was up there as well. Did 1, saw the glove lock early on, up an 8, and then went into 2. You were already on your way up to that top side at that point, I believe, looking around, and then you eventually did 1, but you already had the glove. No big deal for you. And here's where you had 1 and 2 down, and you were going to the east, and then you up an 8 because of the Mito thing, and you came back for the stab in there, and you and Xarnax were side by side. You had the definitive lead there, at least in the overworld and gem placement, and then when you up an 8, you kind of brought it back to neck and neck at that point. But Xarnax was still looking for P3. He still, I don't know if he knew it was a caldera or not. I don't think he did, but he did come over a few more of the corners of the west before heading east again to double check if P3 was available. But when it wasn't, he just headed east then. And again, you were slightly in the lead. P6 was really good to both of you. P5, I think, was better to you than Xarnax. And so far, Xarnax gambled, left at start, and it was kind of close. But yeah, I mean, overall, you took the right route in GP, but you had a lot more exploration advantage, and you were both in Thunderbird room at the same time, but you had already killed Thunderbird. He was fighting Thunderbird. So he entered about 9 minutes after you did. A lot of a recap there.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like going back, or when I lost that first life, that time I went east after doing P1 and P2, I was like, okay, that's a sign I need to go try to get down stab before I do anything else, and forgot about the fact that it would flipped up and down, or down stab could be swapped.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad it didn't affect things, but yeah, that felt like the big missed decision, but aside from that, I felt pretty good.
Yeah, just like the previous seed in the previous game, you just played it as you saw it. You both started with fairies, so it's simply get fairy castable. You identified that it was simply vanilla items in the overworld, and then at that point it's palace items in palaces, but are they shuffled? Might as well just start with P2 because we've got unshuffled palaces again. So start with P2. It's the safest bet. Of course, the glove is sitting right there for free, and no big deal from there. You were Saria and Thunder, and it was go mode, essentially. You had no idea if Thunderbird was required, but today he was. And yeah, pretty straightforward seed. And I think Xarnax's gamble to get down stab, we thought it might help him close the gap a little bit because you had to fight a bunch of stuff in the palaces, whereas he would have the opportunity to just bounce over it and go. It might have saved him some time. You would have to put the palaces side by side, but I think your 5, like I said earlier, I think your 5 was better. And so that did save you a little bit of time. You were able to maintain the lead at that point, and 6 wasn't a troll at all, so you were in and out of 6 immediately, and you were first to do that, so Xarnax had to match that as well, and he did, and again, his 5 didn't match up, so I'm repeating myself, but you maintained the lead in, again, 9 minutes, and the rest is history.
All right, well, thanks for commentating. I did not expect a restream with this early race, so that was a nice surprise. Thank you.
Not a problem. Yeah.
Good luck to Xarnax in his next round, and guess we'll...
Yep, GG again, Patrick. Moving to round 3 here. First to do so, I believe, although we might have some others moving to round 3 later tonight with the races that we've got coming up.
All right, well, thanks again. Have a good one. Bye.
All right, well, I think Xarnax is going to try to finish this. I don't know how much longer this is going to be here. I don't know exactly where he's at. Is he in the room right behind Thunderbird? Or did he come up and... He might be trying to farm out an extra life or something. But maybe not. I don't think he checked right at start just yet. Oh, this is, if you're going to farm, this is the room to farm right here. Yeah. I don't know where this Jackamus statue head room is. Did he go left? He went left from the Thunderbird elevator. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And he's looped back to here. He'll come up in the statue headroom, and then he'll be able to go left from there if he wants to. But, okay, 1 life left. That is enough to reach Dark Link. We missed the quantum leap. It's the reverse Bicula troll. Vanilla Runner's trying to go left. Xarnax trying to go, Vanilla Runner's trying to go right. Xarnax trying to go left here. Yeah, if Xarnax knows this room, he knows he can cast. Oh. Okay, so he does recognize that he is going to go left. There's one more elevator coming up, though, where he can go up and left or just stay down and left. If he stays down and left, this will take him to Dark Link. He's turning around, though. Maybe... see, the problem with Vanilla Reconstructed is that when you look at the upside-down T-junctions that are available in... or even the elevator rooms, the T-junctions and upside-down T-junctions, there's only so many of them. And so you've got your statue head rooms like this that are T-junctions, and then you've got your... The first room that you see when you walk into Vanilla GP is kind of a bowl, right? It's kind of like the bowl elevator room. And so you're going to see a lot of statue head rooms, and you're going to see a lot of bowl rooms like that. And I'm failing to remember any other elevator junction rooms like this in Vanilla GP, but you see a lot of these, and so it's really easy to consider that this is a loop. And so right here, that would have been the same room he came down from after Thunderbird. So he's going to go left again, which is actually good for him. Yeah, Xarnax might also not know about the refill there. Plus, because it's a 50-50, like you say, it's not necessarily a high priority. And so you could just drain all of your magic casting jump repeatedly and get nothing from it. I don't think it's too many more rooms. I think it's linear up until this point. Is Dark Link in the next room? Yes, he is. Okay, so Xarnax going to finish this one here. I'm sure he'll want to come in and chat in a moment. Vanilla Shuffled takes the palace itself and just shuffles the rooms around into a new configuration. Vanilla Reconstructed takes rooms from any other palace, and this is really only specific for palaces 1 through 6, takes any rooms from any other palace and reconstructs the palaces, plus or minus 25% of their vanilla room count. In GP, Vanilla Reconstructed just means it takes all the vanilla rooms from GP and reconstructs a brand new palace at a size that, again, is either plus or minus 25% of its vanilla room count. If it's short in GP, or no, short in GP, I think has its own specific 24 to 48 or 28 to 44 or something like that is short in GP room count. And then the full GP is 58 rooms. Yeah, GG Xarnax here, his race room time is 11119, as I'm sure the bot has spit out already, as we see on the screen. So 7119 for Xarnax. Yeah, Xarnax is going to jump in for an interview here. Welcome in, Xarnax. GG. I saw you light up for a second there.
Hello.
Hello.
GG, Patrick. I think he's gone, but GG.
Yeah, he has stepped out. But,
yeah, he's a busy man.
So this one, how did we feel about this one? In the early game, at least.
I don't know. There were too many things for me to think about, and like I knew I was picking up pieces of it, and I knew I wasn't putting them all together, and I felt like I was probably wasting time doing things I didn't need to do, but I couldn't
like to like go through the logic, I would have to stop what I was doing, like just sit and stop and think, and I didn't want to do that. So like I should have. Pretty early on, it looked like basically everything was vanilla. I think I got really thrown off. For some reason, there was a pee bag at the water tile, and for some reason that made me think that maybe items were shuffled, which doesn't make sense because it was just replacing a heart.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, then I was like, man, I don't. That like I know I dug into like Risen Pea Bag Cave in the east, and that was a complete waste of time. And I knew that halfway through it. Like little things like that add up. The other big one was it's kind of funny. It's kind of the opposite of my first race. I think it was. Yeah, I'm getting them mixed up now. I don't remember if it was my first race with Patrick or another race with Jay Coper. But Palace 2 was right there at the beginning, and I was really tempted to just dive in and look for the glove. And I was like, but one, I don't have any keys. I do have fairy, but I don't have the magic to cast much. And if I go in there, I'm going to want to finish it, and I don't want to place a gym this early, so I decided to explore. And then after I had found Palace 1 and gotten glove blocked in there, at that point I was like, okay, I need to go into 2. I need to see if the glove's in there. And then it turned out extra keys were on, and I probably could have made it through Palace 2 right at the very beginning of the game without any trouble.
Yeah, this has sounded like the Jay Coper race because the last race with Big Picket, you were the one to find P2 first. It was in the segmented section on the west in the previous race. Yeah.
This was like the reverse of that, because in that one I dove into P2 early and then spent a bunch of time grinding keys and other stuff, and really focused on the glove that I didn't need, like not urgently. And then this one, the glove was pretty important, and I put it off.
Yeah, you were first into 1 to show us that glove block, and I guess kind of lucky that it was that early to push you out of there so that you didn't do any more exploration inside of there. Patrick, at the time, I don't have my timestamps perfectly lined up here, but Patrick did dive P2 first. And get the glove out of there. He saw Helmet Head, didn't want to place the gem, killed him, didn't want to place the gem right away, backed out, found the item room, and he wanted a double level, so he got a level in the item room, then backed it up to the gem pedestal and got a second level there. But kind of the same, sort of the same thing for you. You saw Helmet Head as well, and then you placed the gem, got the level, then backed it up and went down and right and got the glove as well. So you both spent about the same time in P2 approximately. P1, he did dig the candle out of there, which may or may not have helped him in some of the lava encounters a little bit. I don't really know. Yeah, it was several rooms behind the horse was the candle. Nobody had the hammer to get into the caldera for P3 today.
Right. Yeah, that was a big gamble I was thinking about. Once I knew, kind of basically, I was like, I was in go mode as long as I could find Palace 6, because I had only found 3 palaces. Well, I had found 1, 2, and 5, and 4, which I couldn't beat because I didn't have Reflect.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, if my options are either look for 6 and hope that's not a big problem, or go to Death Mountain, get the hammer, and then I could get some magic jars. I would reflect, and or maybe find P3. I think P3 was probably through Jump Cave, which was hammer blocked.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I could get the hammer, get 2 more magic jars, and get do Palace 3 or 4, or I can just gamble on 6 being faster, which is what I ended up doing, and that paid off for sure.
Yeah, 6 was fast, but 5 wasn't that quick.
Oh my gosh, five and GP had so many duplicate rooms. It was absurd.
Yeah, that's what happens with vanilla reconstructed palaces is that there's only so many rooms to pull from in the pool, and so you see so many of the same rooms just repeated. Which, in its own right, is interesting to me as someone who plays the game because it's like, wow, this is like the true test to your memory. It's like how can I mentally map this palace? And if you can't, you're in real trouble, or you just happen to luck. You have to luck into the answer. But today's GP wasn't, I don't think, as bad as it could have been. There weren't too many elevator rooms. Did you ever go right at start?
Yes.
Okay, you did. Okay, I might have missed that. It might have been during the Patrick interview there.
Yeah, it was as soon as I right after my first game over.
Okay, yeah, because I remember you came in, you went left right away, which was the correct answer. But how could you know?
Yeah, there were only about 4 rooms before the right path dead ended though, so that was quick.
Okay. Yeah, it hit that one vanilla landing room.
Right.
But coming back to you talking about wasting time, I gave you an advantage early on because of your dig through. Okay, so you dug through the volcano on the east, and you skipped both Risen and Sunken Peabag caves at that point in time. You dug through the volcano on the east. You found Darunia, which was downstab, and that was, I felt, a pretty, or at least potentially a big advantage because Patrick did not have downstab for an extended period of time and had to fight his way through a lot of the palaces.
Really good about picking that up. I don't think it made too big of a difference.
Yeah, it might not have. Because the thing is that you definitely had to come back through the volcano at another point in time to just hit 5 and 6. I think it's possible that if you, I hadn't seen where 6 was, and I didn't see that it was that close to Darunia. I guess it was just off the screen.
Yeah, I didn't see it the first time through either.
Okay. Yeah, it must have been just off the screen because Patrick was the first to show me it on his screen, and so I figured that maybe. Seeing as Fairy was castable for you at that point, it would have been, get downstab and then do 6 right there. That could have then do 6 and then maybe 5. And that could have been, because you're so good at the Guma fight and you had shield. No, you didn't have shield at that point. You did have 7 containers though. So that's a lot of health.
Yeah.
And, you could have done 6 and 5 and been done with the toughest palaces that were forced at that point, but you didn't know they were forced. Unless people wanted to get, like you said, Reflector Hammer. And I did make a call to that in comms. I was like, man, if Hammer Cave is right by the entrance at DM, you could just get the hammer and do 3 over 5 and 6 at that point. So
yeah, it was definitely something I thought about, but it seemed like too big a gamble because it could have been a huge time sink.
Yeah. It was a canyon, looked like a canyon, river canyon DM. And without when the boots don't work on water, they only work on Maze Island. And so you still wouldn't have been able to walk around on the water in DM. And so if it wasn't nearby, you might have been punished. Yeah.
Right.
The other thing is that after we had seen Thunder was in Saria, we're thinking that, it'd be possible that you knew that magic container requirements were on before Patrick did. And so if you knew that, you could have made the play into Death Mountain, get the hammer, get the Spectacle Rock magic container, take it to the basement Granny and get the 8th container and then possibly need it for 8 containers for Thunder. But that wasn't the way it was required today. But it would have been like, again, as knowledge is sort of forming and the puzzle pieces are being put into place, it's always interesting to kind of theory craft like what could be, the way it could have played out a little differently here or there. But unfortunately, it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah. The early downstab and the early magic container knowledge, I felt like those were both really nice finds. But and I was hoping that they would come into play. But the further I got into the seed, I was like, nope, I didn't gain any advantage from any of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible because, again, maybe you were able to bounce over a few enemies in P2 and possibly P1. By then, the next palace came into play. Patrick would have had downstab from Darunia because he skipped 5, went to get downstab from Darunia, and then went to P6, which was right next door. And so,
Okay.
and P6, like was pretty free. And I'm glad you both routed it exactly the same. Go straight down, go right, see the dead end, route it back, go left at start, first elevator down, go right, there's Barba. Nice and simple, not too much of a troll. Unfortunately, there was that loop in P5 on the bottom of the first elevator, and I think you got stuck in it 1.5 times or maybe up to 2 times there. Something.
Yeah. For some reason, there was the blocks room, the room with the falling blocks, and then the Magos, and then the polar bears. I don't know what they're called.
The Goomas, the little Goomas.
No. The square wave heads.
Oh, like the wolf heads, the Mao heads is Mao.
Yeah,
heads, yeah.
The for some reason, after that third room, I thought like the room after that was a Mago room, so I thought it was like A B C B C instead of A B C A B C.
Yeah,
and that I completely missed, like, my memory just completely threw out the second time I saw the falling block room, and so that's like took me a while to realize that I was dealing with 2 rooms and not 4 different ones.
Yeah. Part of like you guys had mixed enemies in the overworld, but you had vanilla enemies in palaces. So everything looked exactly the same whenever you saw a copy of that room. It was like if it in vanilla had the same enemy set and there was 2 copies of the room, it was literally the same room, and you're like, okay, have I been here?
Right. Yeah, there were a couple times in GP like I'd see like the same 2 rooms back to back, and then I had to remember, like, did I go through this from left to right or right to left last time? And that there were a couple times that's how I realized I was not in the same room. It's because I was going through it the opposite way.
Yeah. Well, all things considered, again, when you did Risen P-Bag Cave, I think Patrick also did Sunken P-Bag Cave, so you both spent some time in a P-Bag Cave there. I think just his routing is maybe a little cleaner. Again, the time in 5 is saved a little bit. Maybe his recognition that it was a caldera, there was boulder blocked out of 3 before, because you kind of did a little bit of a further walk around, kind of making sure that 3 wasn't tucked around a corner somewhere. That was a little, like, it all kind of adds up at the end of the day when you've got such a short race. And you did walk into GP 9 minutes and 15 seconds after he did, but going left there, we thought that would really be a real possible steal there, because you hit after Thunderbird, there was a left and a right, and if you went right, then you hit the Jackamus room, the statue head room, and then you went down and right, which loops you back to the left side of that Thunderbird elevator. Unfortunately, you just had to keep holding left, and really, if you just, I mean, it was potentially a steal from you that you could have walked left there. I think Patrick was slightly ahead of you at that point still, so it would have been very, very close. So even though there was a 10-minute difference in finish, it didn't even have to be like that. That could have been much, much closer. You could have definitely closed the gap, immensely. I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, that's GP, and you didn't go right at first. And so when you, like you say, you took the game over, you're like, I got to check to the right. Could be Dark Link right there. I could actually be in the lead. Yeah. But so at the end of the day, you end up spending the same amount of time that Patrick did in GPs. That's just why we have about the same times and finishes as we did entries. But,
right.
GG either way, dude. Always fun to watch you play. I love, we got some style in the barbecue, although we tried to convert to a jumpful jackhammer, which landed us in lava on the second attempt. Was good though. But Barba kept trolling us in the far pit, so that was not fun.
Yeah, well, I always cast jump after the first. Okay. The first try. Yeah, getting a jackhammer, jumpless jackhammer, when you don't know where she's coming up is almost impossible.
I've seen you do the attempt before in the community boss room where the pit that Barba comes up is kind of randomized, and so I've seen you kind of doing those jumps before. I've seen you execute it before. Yeah. So.
Well, yeah. If I don't have jump, I'll go for it.
Yeah.
But it depends on my attack level too. If my attack level is high enough, then it'll be few enough cycles that it's worth not risking.
Yeah.
the miss. But if the attack is low, you can whiff 3 times and then get it once every 4, and then just wail on her, and it almost makes up for it.
Yeah. Well, you're falling to the lower bracket here. You're not going home just yet. Don't know who your opponent is, although I think sometime either later tonight, there's a lot of races, and in the coming days, there's a lot of races, so I'm sure you'll know who your opponent is soon enough, but I believe you have to wait for that person, whoever that is. So good luck moving forward regardless, or either way, I should say.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, VT Slacker, take us out.
All right, and once again, give our runners Xarnax and Patrick a follow. Also, give a follow to Mirai and Eladar for their great work today. Coming up on the ZSR network, we have more races from the Z2R Random Tournament and the Ocarina of Time Rando Standard Tournament, so stay tuned. I will be passing you off to Alexander Harold, who's doing some Ocarina of Time Rando multi-world practice, so that should be interesting. But other than that, see you next time.